Hi there, and welcome to Mind in the Comments. In today's episode, we will look at a comment from Nikki that immediately, when I saw it, made me think, this is the change reaction. And I was so surprised that we didn't have a specific episode on the change reaction. Maybe we'll make an Insomnia Insight episode about that, or maybe this will be our change reaction episode or class, which I hope will be really meaningful, helpful to you. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's look at this comment that came in earlier this week. It is a comment on a live Q&A episode from last week with Coach Alina. And Nikki Hall says the following. Hi, Daniel and company. I have been experimenting with accepting wakefulness and have been getting up to watch Netflix, which totally takes away the rumination in the middle of the night. However, I find it hard to drop off afterwards. I'm only watching lighthearted stuff, no crime dramas, etc. I've also been experimenting with removing my wind down routine, which is a quite brave thing for me in terms of experimenting with letting go, not prepping, planning, forcing sleep. However, it seems that since I've been doing these different things to become more accepting and to go back to normal mindset when it comes to sleep, it seems my sleep has gotten worse. And I've gone a good few weeks now on less than 3 hours, which is tough during the day and tough on positivity levels. I wondered if it was common for sleep to go wonky while changing things up, almost like it's making my brain more scared because it doesn't know what the heck is going on. Thanks, Nikki Hall. And thank you, Nikki, for sharing this. It really, really, again, made me think of this teaching we have around change reactions. So actually, let's talk about change reactions, and then we'll contextualize what you shared again. So a change reaction is when a change leads to apprehension and choppy sleep. And I made, there's 3 points I want to go over. The first one is this one, which is that this actually happens to all of us, regardless of whether we've struggled with insomnia or not. We all can have a change reaction when we are in a new environment. Maybe we're visiting a friend, maybe we're sleeping in, we're camping or something like that. We're in a new environment and our brain goes like, what's going on? This is a little different. Let me keep an eye out, make sure we're safe, etc. We may often have some extra vigilance when we're in a new environment. When something is new, when something has changed, we may sleep a little bit less. It can happen to anyone. So again, we just point out that this in itself completely normal and expected, nothing strange or unusual. And number 2 here is that the change reaction, it has no meaning. There's no meaning beyond what we talked about, And the reason I say this is that the most common time when I teach about the change reaction is actually the following scenario. Somebody has, let's say, been sleeping on a couch for a bit, and they now, see that there's no really reason for me to sleep on a couch, and I want to sleep in my own bed. Let me do that. When somebody says that, then I say, okay, just be aware of the change reaction. Whenever we change something, our brain can be a little bit apprehensive, and we may have some choppy sleep just because we changed something. But the point here is that the change, it doesn't mean you made a mistake. There was nothing wrong with that. It's just that, we can have this change reaction. And the thing is that when we don't know this, for example, we may think that the change reaction means that we made a mistake. And when we think that, there's sort of a reaction to a reaction, which can then lead to a chain reaction. And what is a chain reaction? Well, it's basically, as described, when we say, like, if we use the example I just used, somebody said, I'm going to go back to sleep in my own bed. They have a choppy night. They're like, oh no, I think I made a mistake. Maybe something is wrong. And thoughts maybe like the following, like, should I have changed this? Maybe I didn't change it correctly. Maybe I should go back to the way things were before. And if said person says, oh, I'm going to go back to sleeping on the couch, well, now there's a new change and a new change reaction and a new reaction to that. And now we can have some more trouble sleeping. And so the point is that here, we can have this change reaction after the most insightful changes, right? All right, let's look at this again. So Nikki says that she's been, just getting up to watch some Netflix instead of sort of lying in bed, just waiting to sleep, or kind of fighting with wakefulness, if you will, and says that totally takes away the rumination, which is really, really nice. But it's kind of hard to drop off afterwards. Nikki also says that she's found this courage to let go of the prepping, planning, and forcing of sleep, but there's been some struggle after that. And when I read this, to me, it sort of signaled that we have this kind of like the chain reaction type scenario where there's been a change reaction, which is totally normal, but then there's been this like, maybe I'm doing something wrong, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, et cetera, et cetera. And that is actually what can keep us struggling for a bit longer. Now, with this in mind, let's go to number 3, which is, how does this change reaction fade? Well, we've sort of already talked about it, but everything new becomes old when we have this understanding. When we see that, oh, this is the change reaction that is expected, then there's no response to it, reaction to it, and the brain just sees that there's nothing to worry about. Things come down when we have this understanding. When we don't have understanding, well, there can be this kind of reaction to reaction and the chain reaction. So again, the change reaction as well as the chain reaction, actually, they both fade when we no longer think of them as strange or unusual and when we understand them. So I will conclude there. Hope this made a lot of sense to you, Nikki, everyone else who's tuning in as well, and hope you have a wonderful weekend. And if you're finding your way to where you want to be, peaceful sleep, you're feeling like yourself, again, thanks to our free content. That is wonderful. Please let us know in the comment section. If on the other hand, you find that things are not so easy, you're sort of struggling and you're not really seeing the path to leaving the struggle, maybe you feel isolated, alone, you would like some company, some support, some guidance, then please go ahead and visit our website, thesleepcoachschool.com, and check out our coaching programs and options. And if you decide to join us, then we look forward to seeing you on the other side. With that said, again, hope you have a wonderful weekend and see you next week. Bye-bye.